Do you think this is your time?
Hi guys, Logfolk here and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's something a little bit different. I thought I would do a video on YouTube networks for smaller channels, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on them, the pros and cons of being in them. Two of them I have been in, one I'm currently in, and I'm not going to be biased of anything I say. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, and hopefully this will give you a decision on maybe a YouTube network to join or apply for. So the first one we're going to go with is the network that I'm currently with, called Scalelab. Now, I joined Scalelab maybe back in December 2015, I can't remember. It's been quite a while, but some of the key things that you should look into before you join Scalelab is they do a 70 to 30% revenue share, which is basically from when you make a video and you monetize it. So that means you'll get paid for a certain amount of kind of views or something. Once it hits a certain amount, you get 70% of the revenue earned, and Scalelab will get 30%, which it isn't the worst on this list, but it's not also the best. There are other networks which will offer you 80%, some even offer you 90%, but there are some which will only offer 60% for you, which I wouldn't really recommend at all. So probably 70-30 is not too bad, but really you want to be getting a network which at least offers 80%, but that's kind of hard to find now. One of the things that puts a lot of people probably off Scalelab is that when you sign up, you got to stay with them for 3 months. It's a short-term contract for 3 months, and that's not really I mean, it's not the worst because it is only 3 months, but when you join the network and if you're not happy within it, within a week, it's kind of hard to sort of say I just want to leave the network. So having that contract for 3 months, if you were to say actually if you joined Scalelab and after a week you said I want to leave, you can't leave. You've got to sit out the 3 months before you can request to leave, and even then after that, Scalelab will make it very difficult for you to leave. They'll send you a bunch of they'll send you a couple of emails saying that will get you into contact with I think because I wanted to leave actually a while back, and I received an email saying that they'd want me to stay and that they'd give me one-to-one support with a YouTube channel development guy, which is complete bollocks because that's just never going to happen. So yeah, I mean, Scalelab's not too bad. I mean, some of the stuff that they do is that you get access to free music libraries, and you get to use epoxy. I think that's what it's called, which basically just means you can keep an easier kind of track with all your social media like Twitter, Instagram, and stuff. But a lot of networks now kind of offer these music libraries. That's kind of expected really now within a a network, and they also have a dashboard and stuff, so you can keep up to date with the money that you're earning and all that kind of stuff. In terms of a payout, you do get a payout once you hit $1 which is 85p UK currency maybe. And they also offer support team, and which they actually say on the site, they say support team, no other network is more hands-on and responsive than Scalelab, which is a lot. There's actually a lot of these networks kind of they seem to be very overconfident and quite cocky when it comes to this kind of stuff. I can tell you that I've made requests to the support team, and I haven't really received the feedback that I wanted to receive from them, and I haven't really got what I asked. So I wouldn't really take too much notice into that. But overall, Scalelab, it's for someone who's kind of starting out on YouTube and just looking for the first kind of network, Scalelab, it's okay, but there are better ones out there that we'll see in this video. Okay, so on to the second YouTube network which I'm going to look at. This is N4G TV, who I believe when I was a part of them a couple of years ago, I think they were with kind of like Maker Studios, and like a lot of YouTube networks are sort of connected within them. But this was the particular site which I kind of joined up to be with, and here was some of the stuff that they kind of offered on their site. So some of the positives was that they offered over 400,000 licensed music tracks for you to use in your videos, which is pretty good because that kind of means that very few of your videos are going to get copyrighted. But then again, I mean, a lot of YouTube networks do kind of offer licensed music, but N4G TV in particular does offer a lot compared to most people. Another thing is that they have graphics designers. Apparently, when I was in a couple of years ago, I saw none of this, because apparently they can help with making thumbnails and banners. I don't know if that comes at a cost. I would be very surprised if it did, but I think it would be very hard to get this kind of stuff done, and I just believe that this is something which isn't really, you know, it's just one of those things to try and get people to join in. They don't actually really enforce it within like the network to do this kind of stuff. I think it's just a way to just get people to join. Another thing that they offer is 24/7 partner support, and this is expected from a YouTube network. This is something that they are going to put it on the site, but it's something that every single network does, and that's just kind of expected, really. That's like the minimum what you expect from a network. And they also offer extra sponsorships to partners to earn more money. Again, this was something that I didn't see whilst I was in N4G TV. The one thing that I did see, which I should comment, which most other networks don't do, was that they had a YouTube channel where you could request to have a video put onto their YouTube channel. They did upload quite a few videos, and so I suppose that was kind of good. That got your channel more out there, and it showed people what you were creating. So that was one of the good things about N4G TV. In terms of a sort of how much money you're going to get like paid, like in terms of the revenue share, from what I remember, it doesn't say it on the site at the moment as far as I'm aware of. So I checked a couple of days ago and I couldn't see anything to do with the revenue share. But once, I'm pretty sure that when I was in there, it was a 60-40. It was a 60-40, so 60% for me, 40% for N4G TV or Maker Studios. I don't know, but no, yeah, I don't think it was as good as Scale Up in terms of money that you would earn, but in terms of licensed music and helping your videos on your channel kind of get more out there, I think N4G TV is the better network really for you to go for based on that. But you know, it's very hard to really kind of look at a lot of these partnerships and see which one's the best to go for, because a lot they don't lie, but they don't really kind of do what they're going to say to do to as a good extent, really. They just make it sound really good on the application, and when it actually comes to you joining it, it's not what you think it's going to be. So anyway, we're going to move on to the Freedom Network next. Okay, so the third YouTube network that we're going to look at is the Freedom Network. Now, when I left N4G TV, I was actually looking at joining the Freedom Network. It was one of those, it was one of like 4 or 5 networks which I was looking at joining, and one of the main reasons why I didn't go for it was again because of the revenue share. It was a 60-40 revenue share. Now, really, for when you haven't got a massive channel, it doesn't really matter as much because you're not going to be getting paid much money in the first place. But it's seeing 60-40. It's basically, it's not that much over. You're getting just about over half the amount. And when you think about it, you know, you spend your time and efforts taking up, your day to kind of make YouTube videos, and to find that you're only going to make that you're only going to get like 60% of the revenue. That kind of like, I don't know, because I don't really think that's very good. Because a lot of these networks won't really help you out too much. A lot of the smaller networks won't help you out that much. So I think to be taking 40% of your revenue is very cheeky, really, and quite naughty. But I mean, a lot of the YouTube channels, really, I'd say if you got a small YouTube channel, you go into it to try and get as much support as possible, not really about the money. But you got to try and bear in mind that a lot of the support that you're going to get from these small YouTube networks isn't going to be great. That's with like 90% of small networks. One of the other things that they say on their site is no minimum payouts, brackets $1, which is, I think, like most kind of networks now have this system where, you know, once you make $1 you can have it, and you'll usually get paid at the end of every month or at the start of every month. So yeah, that's not really like a massive, like, kind of great new feature. Another thing that they have is once creators are partnered, they can use any music in their videos and with having no risk of copyright strikes, which is kind of the same as what's M4GTV and Scale Up have. They offer lots of music. It doesn't actually say how many tracks that they have available, as M4GTV says that they have 400,000, but they do say that it will prevent you from having copyright strikes on your videos, which is always something good. And this is actually one of the, I believe it's actually the only one on this list which has an actual requirement. It says that there's a requirement of 33 views a day, but it does mainly come down to the channel not having any copyright strikes. If your channel has got a copyright strike, you will not get with any network at all. And once you get a copyright strike, I think it takes about 6 months for the strike to be removed from your channel. And then I think once you hit 3 copyright strikes, your channel is completely banned and taken down. But yeah, a requirement of 33 views a day for the Freedom Network, and to be honest, from what I've seen on the site, you're not really going to be getting much more out of going with the Freedom Network compared to going out with M4GTV and Scale Up. So out of these that we've looked so far, I would probably recommend definitely trying to avoid the Freedom Network. Maybe people that are in the Freedom Network, though, or if I've experience in the Freedom Network, might say otherwise. I haven't had experience in the Freedom Network, so I don't really know what fully goes on, but from looking at it, I would definitely recommend probably avoiding the Freedom Network. Okay, so into the fourth network that we are looking at, it is called Vector Gaming Network. This was one that I just sort of stumbled across online, and to be honest, it's probably one of the best ones out there for small YouTube or for smaller YouTubers. So let's quickly talk through some of the stuff on this site. That they said that there is a 80 to 20% revenue share, so you'll get 80% of the revenue, and Vector Gaming would get 20%, that's one of the best ones out there. Very few YouTube networks offer something as good as that. The only one I can think of from the top of my head in terms of revenue share that is just as good as Vector Gaming is Curse. I think they do 80-20 or like 90-10 or something like that. They also have no locking contracts, so you can join and basically leave whenever you want. Well, if you were to leave, I don't know if you could rejoin, but if you joined and didn't like it after a few days, you can leave. And they also said something called real-time support, which is basically support kind of 24/7 from real people and not bots. There's not really much more to say really on Vector Gaming. They didn't really say much more about their network, but it's certainly one of the more positive ones that we've looked at. Okay, so moving on to our final network, we are looking at Reflect Gaming. They do no locking contracts. They claim to accelerate the growth of your YouTube channel, which I find very hard to believe. I mean, maybe they do, but I just, for a network that doesn't really ask for requirements, I just don't believe that they do, like that they offer that kind of stuff. But maybe I might be wrong with that. They support PayPal payments, which basically any network does. They claim to have connections that other networks don't, which again I don't believe, and they also claim to give exclusive access to top level brands and sponsorships, which is also something that I just don't believe at all. That a small, like a network which kind of offers itself towards small YouTubers, I just don't think they kind of put that time and effort in. They also offer a free music library, and they let you keep 100% ownership of content, which are two things that you just expect really when you go into any partnership. But that's pretty much going to be it though for this video, guys. I've talked through pros and cons really of these networks. Out of all five, the Scalelab, I mean, it's kind of hard to say really. I mean, Vector Gaming looks quite a positive one. I've never been in Vector Gaming, but from the look of it and what they say, it does look one of the better ones. I would certainly try and avoid Freedom, the Freedom Network. Probably wouldn't go for M4GTV, so I'd say mainly going with Vector Gaming or going with Scalelab, because I've been in Scalelab and I know that Scalelab will pay you money. They will offer some support, but it's not brilliant. And Vector Gaming just looks at a very interesting partnership to go for, but I've not been in Vector Gaming, so it's kind of hard to say which one to go with. But maybe you guys from this video can make up your mind on a network that you'd like to apply for. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.